A first security guard at a managed isolation facility has been suspended after a privacy breach at the weekend. The guard, who was on shift at Auckland's Sheraton 4 Points Hotel, sent a Snapchat message to a private group with the personal details of 27 returnees on Saturday. The Minister for Managed Isolation and Quarantine, Megan Woods, told us earlier that she found out about the breach on Sunday and it was unacceptable. First Security has declined to be interviewed tonight, but in a statement says it's disappointed with the misguided actions of one individual. It says it apologises to those affected and a full investigation is underway. Gary Morrison is the CEO of the New Zealand Security Association and he joins me now. Thanks for your time, Gary. Well, let's cut to the chase. How bad is this?
Unacceptable is the right word for it. That would be our view on it. We are dealing with people, but confidentiality of information is critical within the security industry, and that's something we have to live by. So unacceptable, I think, is the appropriate wording for it.
Because that's the whole purpose, isn't it? Security, whether it be of private information, people or property, that's the core business of this company, security.
It is indeed, yes. Yep.
So are there any circumstances where sending a Snapchat, an Instagram or a selfie, if you're a security person, taking a picture on site and then posting it to any kind of group, is that acceptable at any point?
No, it's not acceptable. And for any security staff, we go through initial training, and part of that is covering the confidentiality of information right up front. So that is part of the initial training. It's also covered within employment contracts, and particularly around social media postings and the dangers that are associated with that.
Yeah, so what are they told specifically about that? Sorry, Gary, what are they told specifically about that? Social media, what are they told?
Within contracts, we'll normally say it's totally prohibited and the dangers that are associated with that. So staff are made very aware right up front around confidentiality and the importance of that information, but in particular watching out for social media, where it can very, very quickly be dispersed widely.
So the details here say that it was posted to a private group on Snapchat. Does that make it any better, private group?
Not really, no. It still leaves that information within the private personal domain where it can be sent by any person.
So how can we trust this company then? Because they've got a vital role here, right, in helping keep this country safe. So how can we trust this company now?
Well, First Security is one of our members. They're a very large provider. They're very reputable. And I can certainly vouch for their employment processes. They have taken this very seriously, as they have with any other breaches that may occur. And I know that they've been very constructive in the approach they've adopted to any of those breaches, putting in place measures to make sure they just can't reoccur. I think it is important to remember we're dealing with people, and people do silly things, but it is unacceptable, and in this case I can rest assured that First will be addressing that and addressing it appropriately.
So what needs to happen now then?
They'll go through their discipline process with that individual, and I'm sure they'll be followed through appropriately. There's already been communication go out to all staff within First. I'm aware of that. And within the
industry,
what
does that say, Gary? Have you seen what that says? What have they said to their workers?
I haven't. I have to say, I was only just made aware of this very, very recently. But I know also that reminders will go out right across the various providers who are working at the managed isolation facilities with exactly that same message. It's not acceptable.
I know this is obviously just unfolding, but have you had a chat to the bosses at First Security?
Not on this matter, no.
Okay. Are you aware of any other breaches like this or have any other concerns around issues like this at managed isolation and quarantine?
There's previously been reports of guards sleeping. It was a very small number, and I am certainly aware that appropriate measures were put in place to prevent that from reoccurring.
Appreciate your time this evening. That is Gary Morrison, who is the CEO of the New Zealand Security Association.